This episode of the Downtown Rams podcast is brought to you by our proud sponsors, Thrive Fantasy, Built Bar, and ExpressVPN. Now, using promo code DTSN, our listeners can get $20 bonus cash on a deposit of at least $20 on Thrive Fantasy, 10% off their Built Bar protein bar order, and 35% off their ExpressVPN annual subscription. Once again, all you have to do is use the promo code DTSN and tell them the Downtown Rams podcast sent you. Now enjoy the show.
Aaron Donald creates the fumble. Goff goes crashing into the end zone.
It is intercepted by Jalen Ramsey.
Robert Wood, touchdown. Picked off by John Johnson. Touchdown, Tyler Higbee. Cooper Kupp plucks it out of the air.
Henderson with a good run and a first down. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Van Jefferson. Everett in stride. Wow!
LA will play for the Lombardi.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show, Downtown Rams. We're getting into draft season here. We have our first draft prospect that is coming on the show, Louisiana Tech offensive lineman Donavaughn Campbell. How's it going, Donovan? Thanks so much for taking some time and coming on our show.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm doing great.
We'd love to hear that. And just to start this off, we just kind of want to hear a little bit about how you got into the game of football.
I've been playing football since I was 4 years old. You know, growing up, I've always been a big kid. And then just throughout, like, you know, I started really thinking I could play professional football when I was at 12 years old. And that's when I really started taking it serious, like going into like 7th grade, 8th grade. And it's just been my passion ever since.
That's awesome. You know, it's always interesting to hear where, you know, everything starts, you know, with someone going into, you know, say a football career. But with that being said, who was your favorite player or maybe somebody that you modeled your game after, you know, kind of growing up?
Hands down, Michael Orr. He's like, when the movie The Blind Side came out, that just like turned my whole perspective on football. Like, it could literally change your life, like coming out of any situation and just taking the game serious. And, you know, I seen how he developed, and I looked more into him. And Michael Orr, he's definitely like the first person that comes to mind when I bring up football and my favorite players. It made me want to play.
Yeah, I love that answer. I love that movie as well, and I loved Michael Orr as well, and thought that he had a really great career. So that's an awesome answer for sure. But you started off your collegiate career at LSU, and then you ended up transferring to Louisiana Tech. So what was your experience like at both of those schools?
Going to LSU, man, that was my dream school ever since I could remember. So being able to go there and play, and then ultimately winning that championship, that was just a dream come true for me. And then playing for Coach O, and then Coach O recruiting me out of high school, man, that's been special. He's been a special guy to me. And then the whole LSU family, me graduating from there, that was just a great time in my life. And so I go to Louisiana Tech. I'm there for like 6 months maybe, and their program is top notch. Like, literally, it compares to LSU. Like, if they had the resources that LSU has, this would be no different. Louisiana Tech, that's a good school, and we had a pretty good drive going. And then, you know, COVID hit, and I had to opt out.
I hear you.
Well, COVID was already going on.
Yeah, it's been crazy. You know, in the NFL, there's so many guys that had to opt out before the season. We're a Rams podcast, so you know, Chandler Brewer, I believe his name is. He had to opt out because he actually has had leukemia. So, you know, there's all sorts of, you know, crazy things that have come with this just unprecedented season. And it was really unprecedented because, you know, Donovan, we were interviewing draft prospects during this whole thing last year, and it was so new for us. It was new for them because it was like, now I feel like we kind of got it down. You know, we're on our Zoom right now. You know, we have that down, but I feel like last year they were really just trying to figure out what to do because there was just no, you know, everything's on the fly. and you had to adapt.
Exactly.
But no, it sucks to hear that. But you do have something along the way, and that is your NFL career, which is coming up. But before we get into any of that, I just want to ask you, did you have a favorite memory aside from the national title, of course? Do you have a favorite memory, or maybe like a game that stands out to you?
I got my first start in 2018 against Ole Miss, and that was a special day for me because I've been waiting and worked so hard. I have to say that day, and then us, ultimately getting the win at the end, that was a great moment for me. Playing in front of my hometown, I invited almost my whole family, and they enjoyed it and everything else. So that'd have to be a very special moment I had.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you played against a lot of really, really talented players in college.
Exactly.
So is there maybe one guy or a couple guys that stand out to you as being the toughest players that you went up against during your collegiate career?
I have to give it to my teammate Rashard Lawrence, man. That guy, we battled every day at practice, and that dude, he's a very good player. Arizona has a great player in him.
Yeah, that's a good one. Definitely somebody that I thought stood out on film, last year, going through the draft, as well as Braden Fajoko, a guy that's come on our show before. So yeah, no, I like that pick, and I like that you're throwing props, your teammates' way. With that said, looking at you as a player, what would you say is your biggest strength, right off the bat?
My biggest strength, I'm a road grader. I can run people off the ball. I've gotten better at pass protection. I moved out to tackle when I went to Louisiana Tech, and I played really well at tackle. And I have to say, yeah, I'm just a road grader, man. I love moving people off the ball. Just run the ball behind me. We're going to score.
Yeah, well, Jake and I both watched a lot of your tape, especially from LA Tech, so I can definitely agree with that for sure. But as this draft process starts and as the draft gets closer, is there anything that you're looking to improve on before draft night?
Before the draft, I want to improve on everything all around. I just want to be an all around better player. I just want to get improving the run game. I mean, the pass game mostly. Just picking up protections and learning different defenses. If you know what they're gonna do already, you already have the answers to the test. So, just a lot more film study also.
Yeah, no, that's definitely important. Obviously coaches love at the next level, a lot of film study, first in, last one out, that type of deal. Moving on though, kind of a fun question here. Who do you most want to block for in the NFL?
Oh, Russell Wilson, hands down. I had that question. I tweeted that out not too long ago. That guy's a stud.
Yeah, well, I have to agree with you. We are Rams podcast, so we can't give too much props to the Seahawks. But yeah, he's a great quarterback, and I'm sure he would be fun to block for. And then this next question is kind of in that same vein. But who do you most want to go up against in the NFL, like a defensive player?
I know y'all are a Rams podcast, but I have to say Aaron Donald.
It's okay.
Hey,
we get that a lot.
That guy, you got to go against the best to be the best. So, Aaron Donald, I got to say that.
I like
Even
it.
if we decide to be on the same team, the Rams pick me up, I have to say, man, him going to have to go there every day.
Yeah, it's definitely a good answer. It's not one that we'll have any issue with for sure. I mean, it's pretty cool. Although, if you're playing tackle, AD only lines up, off the edge just every now and then, but you still might have a chance to go up against him. Or if you're on the Rams, you'll probably
also
get him in practice.
Jordan.
Cam Jordan's very good.
Cam Jordan's good.
They're both still in the playoffs too, so
Yep.
be able to see them this weekend. But now you mentioned the Rams, so I have to ask. It's probably likely a no because I know everything going on. It's pretty crazy. But have you spoken with them at all throughout,
I haven't.
season?
I haven't.
Well, we certainly hope that you do at some point. Obviously being a Rams podcast, and you're a player that we both like a lot, so that would be music to our
Thank
ears.
you.
But just to close this out, in your own words, who is Donavaughn Campbell as a player, and who is he as a person?
First I'll start off as a person. I just want to be a great guy. That's me. And I just like to have fun, be around friends and everything. And I'm just off the field, I'll say I'm a teddy bear, but on the field, it's just a totally different person. I take what I do serious, and the game is I just love it. So that's what it is.
I like that. It sounds like you're like, Shaquille O'Neal on the football field. I mean, it looks that way too. You're just tossing guys left and right. Hey, Donovan, we appreciate it, man. We wish you the best of luck moving forward, and hopefully, our paths cross again, and we have you back on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you so much. Take care, and definitely stay safe and stay healthy.
You too, guys.
All right, guys, we have another interview, draft season time. We have Virginia running back Shane Simpson. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Everything's good over here, too.
Well, that's good to hear. And just to start this off, we just want to hear a little bit about how you got into the game of football.
Yes. Me being born in New Jersey, I think I picked up a football when I was about 6 years old, and I fell in love with everything about it, even though what do you know much about a sport at 6, but I just loved everything about it. And that's when I started playing football. And it's funny that I actually told my parents at the dinner table when I was 7 that I'll be playing in the NFL when I grow up, and my dreams are almost a reality.
I love that. That's awesome. I mean, I said I'd be a professional baseball player, and I wasn't. I don't know if I was actually confident in that, but here you are. I mean, you're getting there. Now I want to know, growing up, did you have a favorite NFL player that you grew up kind of maybe modeling your game after, or, really looking up to?
Yeah, definitely. I would say LaDainian Tomlinson at the time. I was LaDainian Tomlinson for Halloween for about 2-3 years when I was younger. So I definitely say I probably got some of my game from him. And then it's crazy, when I got to college, one of my 5 running back coaches at Towson, he actually said my game emulates like stuff from LaDainian Tomlinson. And then I actually went to go watch him again, and I can definitely see some comparisons in our running style.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, because he's certainly a generational running back, in my opinion, and someone who's extremely talented. And, I think probably a pretty popular role model for a lot of guys at the running back position for sure. But when you started playing, in college, you started off your collegiate career at Towson, and then you were a grad transfer to Virginia. So what was your experience like at both of those universities?
Yeah, so like you said, I was at Towson before I got to Virginia. And definitely Towson and Virginia, definitely two different schools, I would say. From a football team perspective, Virginia was like more of like a player-led team, which I liked. So like the players can actually like use their voices and in the right manner, of course. But and then at Towson, it felt like it was a more coach-led team, even though I was a captain for 2 years, about to be 3 if I stayed for this past year. But definitely two different experiences for me, and I don't regret either one.
Yeah, and kind of playing at Towson and Virginia, is there a memory or maybe a certain game that really stands out to you as like your favorite from college football?
Yeah. So if I had to pick one from each school, I would probably say my favorite game at Towson was 20, 2018 against Villanova. I forgot to even say this in the beginning. Me being born in New Jersey, but I was raised in Pennsylvania, and obviously Villanova being in Pennsylvania, we played up there in 2018. They were ranked number 10th in the country or 9 in the country, and obviously we were the underdogs. Nobody thought we were going to win, but we came in there and beat the crap out of them, and really got our respect back from the world, and that's where we really took off. And so I'll probably definitely say that was one of my favorite games at Towson. And then at Virginia, my favorite game would definitely be the UNC game when we knocked the UNC off when they were ranked number 13 in the country. And in that game, I led the team in rushing, and I was the leading receiver as well.
Yeah, those are both great memories, especially the one you mentioned, kind of going back to home turf in Pennsylvania and getting the big win there. And then, of course, another big win against UNC. So both great answers. But, you played against a lot of really tough competition in college, at Towson and Virginia. Is there one guy or maybe a couple guys that kind of stand out to you as being the toughest players that you went up against?
Definitely. Can I name some like on my team as well, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. If I had to say on my own team, definitely going against Charles Snowden at Virginia was definitely a tough task, especially with him being 6'7", me being around 5'9". It's kind of hard getting your hands on a 6'7" guy with a wingspan like that. So I'll definitely say he's definitely one of the toughest competitors players that I played against. And then I would say the linebacker from UNC, Chaz Surratt. He was pretty good. He was real sound linebacker. And if I had to say one more, probably Nasir Adderley out of Delaware, the safety for the Chargers right now.
Yeah, I remember watching this year up close and personal at the Senior Bowl, and I mean the guy plays like his hair's on fire. So I mean, I agree with that. I also really like Chaz Surratt. Both of the Surratts they're being the draft this year. I think they're both really talented. So I'm glad you brought those up. Now looking at your game, what would you say is your biggest strength as a player, Shane?
Definitely say my versatility, because I don't want to be just labeled as just a running back. Throughout my career and from the tape, you can see that I can play running back, play a slot, line up outside, and catch kickoff returns, punt returns, catch out of the backfield, and stuff like that. And I want to make sure I can market myself like that to be a Swiss Army knife in today's NFL game.
Yeah, and as the draft is approaching, is there anything that you're looking to improve on?
Nothing in particular, just obviously catching every ball that's thrown at me, completing every drill without messing up from like a running back's perspective, perfecting my routes coming out the backfield. And then if coaches and scouts want me to catch kickoff returns, punt returns, obviously just looking the ball in and just doing the normal stuff, not making it too big, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And now at the next level, running the football, is there any sort of, defensive player that you would like to, go up against at the next level? Or maybe even, is there a quarterback in mind that you'd like to take a handoff from?
Yeah, definitely. From a quarterback, I want to take a handoff from. Definitely Tom Brady, just because obviously he's the best quarterback to ever play the game, and just to get to learn, just like to pick his brain during practices or in games and stuff like that would just really be interesting. And obviously taking the ball from him would be kind of amazing, like shocking at that point, just because he's been in the league for almost as long as I've been alive. So I would definitely say Tom Brady.
Yeah, he's a popular answer for sure. Totally makes sense. And This next question, I'm going to venture to say is probably no because we're so early in the draft process. But by any chance, have you spoken with anyone from the LA Rams?
No.
Yeah, we figured. We're asking everybody this, but it's so weird this year. It was weird last year when we were doing all the interviews and everything, and no one really knew what was happening. They kind of figured out the draft on the fly. So, I guess kind of a follow-up question for you, Shane. Do you know like how everything is going down as far as like the virtual meetings? Like, have you had any sort of idea of how things are going to go down for the NFL draft season?
Yeah, I don't even know really. It's just it's all up in the air right now, especially with like the combine, if there's the draft getting pushed back and stuff like that. So I really don't try and pay too much attention to it. I really just try and stay just working out, perfecting my craft from like the 40 and stuff like that. And then controlling what I can control and let whatever else handle us on its own.
Yeah, that's spot on. Just got to do what you can do. And, hopefully the NFL and everybody figures out the best and safest way to handle the draft process this year. I'm sure that they're working on it, and hopefully we find out soon, and there will be a combine, as there always has been. So, just to wrap this up here, in your own words, who is Shane Simpson as a person, and who is he as a player?
Shane Simpson as a person, God-fearing man, just wants to see other people succeed just as much as his own success. And then as Shane Simpson as a football player, getting a real dedicated, hardworking young man who's been through adversity and knows how to overcome it, and willing to do anything for the team and willing to play whatever position to help the team win in any facet.
Yeah, that's a good answer, Shane. We like hearing it. Hopefully our paths cross and you end up, in LA, but if not, we'll be following you, and we wish you the best of luck, best health, and your family staying safe throughout this crazy time that we're in.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you. Take care.
You as well.